ओम नमो वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्टिकी। हरे कृष्णा। We try to understand shloka number 37 and 38, chapter 9, Srimad Bhagavatam, canto first. Swanigamam apahaya mat pratigyam
स्वनिगमम् अपहाय मत प्रतिज्ञाम्
रूतम अधिकर्तुम अवप्लुतरतस्त
रोतम् अधिकर्तुम् अवप्लूतः रथस्थः
धृतरथ चरण अभ्ययात चलद्गुः
द्रुत चरण अभ्ययात चलत गुः
हरिः इव हन्तुम इबं गतोत्तरीयः
हरिः इव हन्तुम् इभं गतोत्तरीयः
शिथ विशि विशिखहतः विशीर्ण दंशः
शितविशिखहतः विशीर्णदंशः
क्षतज परिप्लुत आततायिन मे
शतज परिप्लुत आततायिनः मे
प्रसभम अभिससार मत्वदार्थम
प्रसभ अभिससार मद अवदार्थम
सह भवतु मे भगवान गति मुकुंद
स भवतु मे भगवान गतिः मुकुन्दः
स्वनिगम निगमम अपहाय मत प्रतिज्ञाम
स्वनिगमम् अपहाय मत प्रतिज्ञाम्
अधिकर्तुम अवप्लुतः रथस्थः
ऋतम् अधिकर्तुम् अवप्लूतः रथस्थः
ध्रुतरथ चरण अव्ययात् चलद्गुः
ध्रुतरथ चरण अभ्ययात चलद्गुः
हरिः इव हन्तुम इवं गतोत्तरीयः
हरि इव हन्तुम् इवं गतः उत्तरीयः
शीतविशिखत विशीर्ण दंशः
शीतविशिखहत विशीर्णदंशः
क्षतज परिप्लुत आततायिन मे
क्षतज परिप्लुत आततायिनो मे
प्रसभम अभिसार मद्वध अर्थम
प्रसभम् अभिससार मदवदर्थम्
सह भवतु मे भगवान गति मुकुंद
स भवतु मे भगवान गतिः मुकुन्दः
स्वनिगमम् अपहाय मत् प्रतिज्ञां रूतम अधिकर्तुम अप्लुतरथस्तः ध्रुतरथ चरण अभ्ययात् चलद्गुः हरिः इव हन्तुम इबं गतोत्तरीयः शितविशिखत विशीर्णदंशः क्षतज परिप्लुत आततायिन मे रसभम् अभिससार मद्वदार्थम स भवतु मे भगवान गति मुकुंद
स्वनिगमम् अपहाय मत प्रतिज्ञाम् रूतम् अधिकर्तुम् अप्लुतः रथस्थः ध्रुतरथ चरण अभ्ययात चलद्गुः हरि इव हन्तुम् इभं गत उत्तरीयः शितविशिखहतः विशीर्णदंशः क्षतज परिप्लुतः आततायिनः मे प्रसभ अभिससार मद अवधार्थम् स भवतु मे भगवान गतिः मुकुन्दः
आशीष प्रभु जी प्लीज रीड।
स्वनिगमम् अपहाय मत् प्रतिज्ञाम् ऋतम् अधिकर्तुम् अप्लुतो रथस्थः धृतरथचरणो अभयश्च चलद्गुर् हरिर्इव हन्तुम् इभं गतोत्तरया सीतविशिखहतो विशीर्ण दंश शतज परिप्लुत अततायिनो मे प्रसद प्रसद प्रसभाम् अभिससार मत् वदर्थम् स भवतु मे भगवान गतिर्मुकुंद। हरे कृष्ण।
देवी माता जी।
कृष्ण। हरे कृष्ण। दंडवत प्रणाम माता जी।
Hare Krishna.
स्वनिगमम् अपयः मत् प्रजितं दत्तम् अधिकृतम् अवप्लुता रथसिता कृतरथशरणाः अव्यक्त चल चल चलदूत हरिः इव हन्तम् इवं कदा उत्तरेह सित विशाख हत नामि परसम्पम् अभिशरः मत्पादरतं सः भवतु मे भगवान् गति मुकुन्दः. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Fulfilling my oath and sacrificing his own promise, he got down from the chariot, took up its wheel, and ran toward me hurriedly, just as a lion goes to kill an elephant. He even dropped his outer garments on the way. May he, Lord Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who awards salvation, be my ultimate destination. On the battlefield, he charged me as if angry because of the wounds dealt by my sharp arrows. His shield was scattered and his body was smeared with blood due to the wounds. Purport by the Srila Prabhupada, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The battle of Kurukshetra was fought on military principle, but at the same time in a sporting spirit, like a friend's fight with another friend. Duryodhana criticized Bhishmadeva, alleging that he was reluctant to kill Arjuna because of paternal affection. A Kshatriya cannot tolerate insult on the principles of finding Bhishmadeva therefore promised that the next day he would kill all five Pandavas with special weapons made for the purpose. Duryodhana was satisfied and he kept the arrows with him to be delivered the next day during the fight. By tricks, Arjuna took the arrows from Duryodhana, and Bhishmadeva could understand that this was the trick of the Lord Krishna. So he took a vow that the next day Krishna would have to take up weapons himself. Otherwise, his friend Arjuna would die. In the next day's fighting, Bhishmadeva fought so violently that both Arjuna and Krishna were in trouble. Arjuna was almost defeated. The situation was so tense that he was about to be killed by Bhishmadeva the very next moment. At that time, Lord Kṛṣṇa wanted to please his devotee Bhishma by keeping Bhishma's promise, which was more important than his own. Uh, seemingly, he broke his own promise. He promised before the beginning of the battle of Kurukshetra that he would remain without weapons and would not use his strength for either of the parties. But to protect Arjuna, he got down from the chariot, took up the wheel of the chariot, and hurriedly rushed at Bhishmadeva in an angry mood. As a lion goes to kill an elephant, he dropped his covering cloth on the way, and out of great anger, he did not know that he had dropped it. Bhishmadeva at once gave up his weapon and stood to be killed by the Krishna, his beloved Lord. The fighting of the day was thus ended at that very moment, and Arjuna was saved. Of course, there was no possibility of Arjuna's death because the Lord himself was on the chariot. But because Bhishmadeva wanted to see Lord Krishna take up some weapon to save his friend, the Lord created his situation, making Arjuna's death appear imminent. He stood before Bhishmadeva to show him that his promise was fulfilled and that he had taken up the wheel. The dealings of Lord Krishna and Bhishmadeva on the battlefield of Kurukshetra are interesting because the activities of Lord Sri Krishna appear to be partial to Arjuna and an enmity with Bhishmadeva. But factually, all this was especially meant to show special favor to Bhīṣmadeva, a great devotee of the Lord. The astounding picture of such dealing is that a devotee can please the Lord by playing the part of an enemy. The Lord, being absolute, can accept service from his pure devotee, even in the garb of an enemy. The Supreme Lord cannot have any enemy, nor can a so-called enemy harm him, because he is Ajit or unconquerable. But still, he takes pleasure when his pure devotees beats him like an enemy or rebukes him from a superior position, although no one can be superior to the Lord. These are some of the transcendental reciprocatory dealings of the devotee with the Lord, and those who have no information of pure devotional service cannot penetrate into the mystery of such dealing. Bhishmadeva played the part of a valiant warrior, and he purposely pierced the body of the Lord, so that to the common eyes it appeared that the Lord was wounded. But actually, all this was to bewilder the non-devotees. The all spiritual body cannot be wounded, and a devotee cannot become the enemy of the Lord. Had it been so, Bhishmadeva would not have desired to have the very same Lord as the ultimate destination of his life. Had Bhishmadeva been an enemy of the Lord, Lord Krishna could have annihilated him without even moving. There was no need to come before Bhishmadeva with the blood and wounded, but he did so because the warrior devotee wanted to see the transcendental beauty of the Lord decorated with wounds created by pure devotee. This is the way of exchanging transcendental rasa or relation between the Lord and the servitor. By such dealings, both the Lord and the devotee become glorified in the respective leave. The Lord was so angry that Arjuna checked him when he was moving towards Bhishmadeva, but in spite of Arjuna's checking, he proceeded towards Bhishmadeva as a lover goes to a lover without caring for hindrances. Apparently, his determination was to kill Bhishmadeva, but factually it was to please him as a great devotee of the Lord. The Lord is undoubtedly the deliverer of all conditioned souls. The impersonalist desires salvation from him, and he always awards them according to the aspiration. But here, Bhishmadeva aspires to see the Lord in his personal picture. All pure devotees aspires the gods. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Ena Tasmai Sri Gurave Nama Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Ena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeyam Sri Guroho Sri Uttapada Kamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavancha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakadvitalcha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhecha Rupa Sindhube Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Nama Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama
Hare
Rama
Rama,
Rama
Rama
Hare Hare
Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
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 Hare,
Rama
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama
Hare Rama,
Rama Rama
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna
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 Krishna,
Hare Hare
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama
Rama, Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama Hare
Hare.
Hare Hare Krishna. Today we try to understand shloka number 37 and 38. Here they're describing about how the Krishna break his vow and lead his devotees promise completed. That description is coming in these shlokas. Prabhuji will tell us in detail. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. So Sunny and Bunny, they're walking down the road, and in Kali Yuga, the dogs are more frightening than the tigers nowadays. So in their society, while they were walking, all of a sudden, a dog found Sunny too attractive. That's why Krishna is Sarvaha Karshayati Krishna. So sometimes dog finds someone very attractive, and he started running towards him. And Sunny was so afraid, so frightened, he started running. So Sunny ahead, Bunny beside, dog behind. Sunny ahead, Bunny beside, dog behind. And this way, sometimes Bunny ahead, Sunny ahead, sometimes dog behind. And this continued. And it was so harsh a race. It generally happens. You have a lot of sweat. And unfortunately, that day, Sunny had worn a trouser, a tracksuit, and his pant also came down. Now just look, this happens in Kali Yuga. Now go back to the Mahabharata war. Here, Arjuna is fighting with Bhishmadeva. Bhishmadeva is one of the best warriors, and he has been betrayed just a day before. Because he was being chastised by Duryodhana, Bhishmadeva had taken a vow that he'll kill the Pandavas, and then he suddenly brought out 5 miraculous arrows with which all the 5 Pandavas could be killed. So then I became very happy. Yes! Now I'm going to win the war. And so he thought that maybe Bhishmadeva become maybe too merciful and give it away to someone. So he decided to keep the arrows in his own custody. And he took the arrows away. Now Krishna is Sarvagya. He knows everything, whatever is happening everywhere. The reason he is situated in everyone's body as Paramatma. So he knew what has happened. So immediately he called Arjuna and said, Arjuna, come here, come here. Arjuna went and he told Arjuna, Arjuna, you are younger brother of Duryodhana. So you should go and seek Duryodhana's blessings for the war. Now Arjuna was, what are you telling this? I am fighting against him. He said, just go. And when he is ready to give you blessings, tell him you want the 5 special arrows which he has taken from Bhishmadeva. And thus, the arrows which were supposed to kill the Pāṇḍavas came back into the custody of the Pāṇḍavas. Krishna arranged this Leela. Now, Bhishmadeva, when he came to know that the arrows with which he was supposed to kill the Pāṇḍavas to please Duryodhana had been taken away, he immediately understood it can be done by no one else but Krishna. So he thought, now is the time. And he said, now I will ensure that Krishna breaks his vow. Because he has stopped my vow, so I will ensure that he is also not able to fulfill the vow. What is the vow which Krishna had taken? Krishna had given the opportunity to both Duryodhana and Arjuna. Both had come to serve him. So when they had come to serve him, Krishna was sleeping. So Duryodhana thought that let me be near Krishna's head so that he sees me first and I will get whatever I want. And Arjuna thought that I am a servant of Krishna. So he was staying with Krishna. He was at his feet and serving him. When Krishna opened his eyes, he saw Arjuna first and then Duryodhana. And then after the pleasantries were exchanged, Duryodhana said the reason why they had come, that he would like to have Krishna on his side for the war. And Arjuna said, I had come with the same purpose. So Krishna said, okay, what I will do is, I have got this strong army. I can give army to one and I will be on the side of the other. but I'll not take up a weapon and participate in the war. Duryodhana became, he's not going to fight the war, so what is the use? And Arjuna thought, great. So then Duryodhana said, let me ask first. But Krishna said, no, I have seen Arjun first, so Arjun has the first right to ask. So Arjuna, when he was given the opportunity, he said, Krishna, I'd like to have you on our side. What is the use of the army if you are not there with us? And so Krishna was selected by Arjuna. And Duryodhana was very happy. Wow, I get the army, the strongest of the armies. Because he didn't know what Krishna is or who Krishna is. And he was very happy that Krishna has taken a vow that he is not going to pick up any weapons and fight the war. Now, Bhishmadeva was aware of this. So Bhishmadeva said that my vow, my decision to kill the Pāṇḍavas has been stopped by Krishna. So I will now ensure that tomorrow he picks up the weapon. And exactly that is what happened. He fought so valiantly, he sent so many arrows, he hurt not only Krishna, but even Arjuna. A situation came when the next arrow could have killed Arjuna. And the chariot had completely fallen down. Krishna says this. He became angry. How can he disturb my devotee? So apparently this is the anger which was shown. He picked up the wheel and he started running. Yes! Ah! And exactly at that time the sun set. While he was running, Arjuna tried to stop him. Arjuna, Krishna, please don't do. Please don't do. You have taken a vow not to fight with any weapon. But Krishna was not listening. He was wounded. There was blood all over his body. And he kept on running towards Bhishmadeva, and his clothes fell down. And just because the sun set, the battle for the day was over. Bhishmadeva was happy to see his Lord coming in front of him, charging at him like a bull. He was able to see Krishna completely filled up with wounds, the blood. He was shining. And he was, wow, I'm going to be getting killed by my Lord. By looking at him, I'm going to leave the body. But then the war stopped. The battle stopped for the day. So, Bhishmadeva is remembering all these things. And he could see, he could sense how beautiful that scene was. And Krishna, he wanted to fulfill Bhishma's vow. He was ready to sacrifice his own promise. And that is why he had done this. So what we learn from here is that Lord Kṛṣṇa wanted to please his devotee by keeping his promise, which was more important than his own. So Krishna always ensures that the devotee is the first and the most important aspect of all his activities. Just like we say that we have to live our life, it's Krishna at the center of our life. Similarly, for Krishna, it's the devotee who is the center of his activities. He is so merciful, he is ready to do absolutely anything for his devotees. And that is why he took up a weapon to save his friend. Krishna created this whole situation wherein it appeared that Arjuna's death was imminent. And he stood before Bhishmadeva to show him that his promise was fulfilled. And he had taken up the field. Thus Krishna, who is the personality of Godhead, awards salvation. And so Bhishmadeva prays that let such Krishna be my ultimate destination. See, these dealings between Bhishmadeva and Lord Kṛṣṇa, they are very, very interesting. Because though on a material front it appears that Krishna is partial to Arjuna, an enemy of Bhishmadeva, but factually this whole episode was to show special favor to Bhishmadeva, who is a great devotee of the Lord. So this shows that a devotee can please the Lord by playing the part of an enemy as well. And that is why Krishna never ever abandons his devotees. In fact, he sent some devotees in the garb of enemy because Krishna wants to fight. Krishna also loves to fight, and that same tendency has come in us. So, at that same time, to teach us that becoming enemy is not very profitable. So, better become friend, that will be profitable. So, he sent some of his devotees as enemies. Na veda kaschid bhagavas chikirshtam. Nobody knows what is the purpose of Krishna's appearance and disappearance. Tava ihamanasya nranaha vidambanam. You are in this world just like ordinary human being. This is bewildering. But then there is a reason behind whatever Krishna does. That is why you had Ravana. That is why you had Kamsa. That is why you had Kumbhakarna. They all were devotees, but then they came as enemies of Krishna to fight with Krishna and please him, because Krishna wanted to enjoy the fight. Krishna is Ajita, unconquerable, but still he takes pleasure when his pure devotee beats him like an enemy or rebuffs him from a superior position. His spiritual body cannot be wounded, and so a devotee cannot become enemy of the Lord. Because if it had been so, then Bhishmadeva could have not have desired to have the same Lord as the ultimate destination of his life, if he was the enemy. And if he was the enemy, Krishna could have annihilated him without even moving from his place. But then, he came with blood and wounds in front of Krishna. Because Bhishma, the warrior devotee, wanted to see the transcendental beauty of the Lord, decorated wounds created by a pure devotee. And in fact, it is such dealings between the Lord and the devotee which make both of them glorified in their respective positions. The Lord actually is deliverer of all conditioned souls. Everyone desires salvation from him. And whatever is the aspiration, Krishna gives awards accordingly. But here, Bhishmadeva aspired to see Lord in his personal feature. And that is why Krishna performed this Leela. And all pure devotees actually aspire to see Krishna as he is. The Dvi Puja Swarupa of Krishna, wherein he is ready to protect everyone. And that is why this Leela is very, very important and makes us understand that we are on the right path. Becoming an enemy of Krishna is useless, is futile. Becoming a servant of Krishna is very, very beneficial, because it helps us get out of this repeated cycle of birth, old age, disease, and death. And in Kali Yuga especially, it is very easy to become a friend of Krishna. We just have to do the chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Take association of devotees, read the scriptures, take only Krishna Prasadam as diet, and engage ourselves in some service to the Krishna, to the devotees, to the Guru, and rest is taken care of by Krishna. Hare